Well, right now, the pathway toward any potential ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war has stalled. Now, the latest round of talks was cut short yesterday when the president's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, said the U.S. was bringing its negotiating team home from talks in Qatar. President Trump was asked today if he's given up on a potential ceasefire in Gaza.
Yeah, Gaza, they pulled out of Gaza. They pulled out in terms of negotiating. It was too bad. Hamas didn't really want to make a deal.
CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie D'Agata joins me now. So, Charlie, do we know why the U.S. walked away from these talks on Thursday?
Kelly, great to be with you. Hamas does not appear to be acting in good faith. That's the reason that Stephen Witkoff has given. Essentially, Hamas is not serious about reaching some sort of agreement. Now, there are some suggestions that Hamas is disputing details over like high-value prisoner exchange, which is a part of the deal. And there had been a glimmer of hope because, you know, we pay attention when it looks like there might be a breakthrough and then look away again when there's not. But the fact is these talks have been going on at sort of low levels in terms of negotiations. Now when it looks like progress, people like Steve Witkoff and his team are brought in to sort of push it over the line. So the fact that he pulled out while planning to attend those talks either suggests that Hamas has changed their terms, or this is a kind of negotiating tactic in order to get Hamas to change their approach and back on track. He said it's a shame that Hamas has acted in this selfish way.
Well, and the U.S. Special Envoy says the U.S. is now looking at alternative options to release those remaining hostages who, of course, are still being held by Hamas. I mean, alternative options, obviously, that's pretty vague. Do you have any insight on what those could be?
Yeah, you know, the whole team is being intentionally opaque about what those alternative options might be. However, Kelly, you know, we have to remember it's believed that there are no living American hostages still in captivity. So in terms of Americans, they're seeking the return of their bodies, which, of course, is vitally important to those families. We do know that U.S. intelligence agencies were involved in the recovery of American hostages in the past. That might be one of the options. And if they do go back to the original deal, that's called for the release of 10 living Israeli hostages, 18 deceased. That's half of the hostages that are remaining in Gaza. And that's in return for a 60-day ceasefire. But sometimes, you know, as I said before, close is better than nothing. So, you know, collapse might be the wrong term here because there were expectations of a breakthrough, not that negotiations are necessarily over.
Yeah, of course, those families, even if they are bodies, really do want them to come home, understandably. Before I let you go, I want to ask you, the UN says children in Gaza are starving as aid groups have been blocked from entering the territory. We also heard that journalists from 4 major news organizations in Gaza are facing the threat of starvation. There are now plans for new aid airdrops over the enclave. So who's coordinating that? When could we expect that to begin?
Well, honest, Kelly, I have to say that this is developing as you and I speak. So we know that Israel has given the green light for that to happen. And according to a statement from an Israeli official, the Israeli Defense Force is coordinating potential airdrops into Gaza, and that may happen in the next few days. Now, where that's going to come from, we've learned from Jordanian sources that neighboring country is in the process of coordinating airdrops there. We've just learned a few moments ago the UAE, United Arab Emirates, might be looking at contributing to that and their willingness to contribute to that effort. We should also point out that Jordan has done that in the past, in part in coordination with U.S. forces here from Central Command region. That was back in April 2024. But Kelly, I have to say, you know, this is a blunt instrument with limited success. Israel blames Hamas for commandeering food and supplies. But the UN, and we've seen these images, right? The UN and aid agencies calls the crisis a new and astonishing level of desperation.
And you're right to say it is developing minute by minute. I have seen our reporting coming across my email, even in the last hour. So really appreciate you staying on top of that and bring us the details. Charlie D'Agata, thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.